We did cover this last week, the whole assassination of Shinzo Abe, the terrible event that happened. And we spoke about how China reacted to it.
Yeah.
And they've just been doubling down. Directly after our episode finished, footage came out of them putting, pictures of Shinzo Abe's, basically like death picture and coffin and stuff on the projector in nightclubs, and people were dancing to it and celebrating, which is absolutely disgusting. If you take a look at the juxtaposition here, what does the Global Times have to say here?
Global Times, Chinese state media, they say, #opinion. They love using hashtags for no reason, by the way.
Yeah, so do tankies.
Oh, interesting.
And shills.
It's like a dog whistle.
Yeah.
They just fill it up.
They
with
just
hashtags.
love hashtags. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Chinese society's mixed and complicated reaction towards the assassination of Abe is normal and real. What does that mean? Let's break that down for a second. What does normal and real mean?
Yeah.
It's not fake?
Yeah.
Did people claim that?
There's also, sure. There's something even more.
No, I know it's coming, but I want to point out when the Chinese state is usually very on the nose. It's like they're reacting to something that's not there. Like it's like they're insinuating that Chinese society doesn't have a mixed and complicated attitude towards this. But then it continues. It says, Chinese people are not sophisticated in general, and they dare to express explicitly their love and hate.
So,
what?
If anybody anywhere in the world were to put out a piece in the newspaper to say Chinese people are not sophisticated in general, wouldn't that be just like the most racist thing?
Yes.
Wouldn't you get the Chinese government would jump on that?
Oh my God.
They'd be like, how dare they call the Chinese people not sophisticated, in general. That's basically saying the Chinese people are dumb, is what's being said.
Chinese state media is
saying that. They're not
they can't figure it out.
Smart enough to know how to react.
Right.
They're
basically saying Chinese people are not switched on enough to show that whether they liked or hated this event, this assassination.
What is the opposite of sophisticated?
I don't know. Uncultured. Simple. Yeah, simple. Too simple.
So basically,
sometimes naive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what are you saying, Global Times? Are you saying that Chinese people are simple? Too simple to be able to react in any way other than disgusting hatred that you've indoctrinated
them? Well, they're actually saying they're not sophisticated enough to even show hatred.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying.
Well, to express explicitly their love and hate.
Yeah.
They dare. No, they do dare. They dare to
not
express.
Sophisticated in general, and they dare. I see now. This is so poorly worded.
It's very bad. So they're so simple that they don't know how to react other than to just express and explicitly express your love and hate.
Yes.
Okay, because you're not sophisticated enough
That's a very confusing sentence.
To figure things out. You wouldn't be able to. There would be no nuance.
I'm not sophisticated enough to understand that sentence.
Yeah. Anyway, it's ridiculous, but we have to show you what's happening next to it, okay?
I thought it was good juxtaposition.
Yeah, look at this. So take a look. Right next to it, we have a video of at a wedding, okay? And someone's making a speech. Okay, for those of you who are listening, he's raising up a beer and he's saying, I toast to the hero who shot Abe. Yeah, cheers, This bottle of wine, well, that's not. It's like this. This
alcohol.
This alcohol, each of our sons and daughters, every Chinese. Applause and cheers. Witness the history, right? Agree? And people are clapping.
For the assassination.
Yeah, it's like, you F China, China F's you to death. I gotta ask you something here, okay? What does that imply? Does that imply that China murdered Abe?
I mean, it's almost like it's spiraled out of control. The celebration of the assassination of Abe has spiraled so far out of control from what I've seen on social media that I think people are now claiming ownership of it.
Yeah, they're claiming it's like China fought back.
This up.
We are the ones who assassinated him.
It's kind of like when you proclaim yourself as the victor of the Japanese invasion, right?
Yeah.
Mao Zedong's troops, the PLA, are the only reason that Japan left China.
Yeah.
And that fantasy is 100% false.
Yes.
And it's completely not true at all. Yeah. It might have had something to do with bombing Japan.
Sure.
And also pushing back troops that the KMT did, the nationalist government did, while the PLA sat there and waited.
Yeah.
Anyway, reality doesn't matter because when you tell a fantasy long enough, people start to believe it. Yeah. And I think that's what's happening. Because like if you ask the average uncle of that age, the average Laoban, they think that the PLA defeated Japan.
Yeah, they think that the Communist Party of China is who defeated Japan.
Right. So
they had nothing to do with that.
Right, and you get the same thing with this assassination.
They defeated their own people.
Of course, the killer, the assassinator, had to do with China. He loved China so much that he assassinated Abe.
Well, I mean, here's something even more disgusting: is at a comic convention in China, somebody cosplayed as the assassin.
Yeah.
And he was like, "This is the greatest, I don't know, assassin of all time, basically,
Yeah.
What it's like, I'm kind of speechless.
I know. Yeah.
Because when it comes to this kind of thing, there's a certain amount of disgust you can have towards a certain type of behavior. But like when it comes to somebody who, by the way, Abe had nothing to do with oppressing and killing China. No. Or Chinese people.
The propagandists going around acted like he was calling for the invasion of China.
Yeah. The guy was retired. Well, he was no longer self-retired politician with health problems making a speech, and he got shot cowardly from behind by an assassin. Say what you will about a person. You don't go and celebrate that kind of cowardly behavior. It's disgusting. No. You don't go dress up as the assassin and cosplay as him. No. You don't go
because it's societally acceptable.
Yeah, and this is the proof that it's societally acceptable. Because if somebody decided to go like 3 days or 4 days after JFK was shot in the head. Yeah. Okay, and they go dressed as Lee Harvey Oswald or whatever, going around there like, yeah, kill JFK, I'm pretty sure you get beaten up.
Yeah, and you might have people some weirdos that would do that, but societally it wouldn't be okay.
It wouldn't be okay. No. That kind of behavior is deterred because it's not acceptable in society.
It's psychotic.
It is.
And that's the thing. There's a lot of problems in China that are directly attributed to the government's brainwashing that I could label as psychotic.
Yeah.
But accepted.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's acceptable to celebrate assassinations. It's acceptable to celebrate the death of random Japanese people.
Yeah.
Whenever there's a tragedy in Japan, they love an earthquake or something. People celebrate.
God did this.
Yes,
revenge.
It's not okay. And this very disturbing form of nationalism that the Communist Party of China has bred into the populace in China is rearing its ugly head, and they're not stopping it.
Yeah.
Because the Chinese government can stop anything at once.
Yeah.
They could put out a notice to say, you cannot do this, okay? And they did that. I saw them do that before because when the Senkaku Island, the whole Diaoyudao Island thing happened, I went out to go and film because they were smashing Japanese cars, and so I went out to go film some of the shops, and they had taken some of the bigger shops like Jusco, which is like a Japanese,
I used to go there all the time,
and they actually put guards like police riot guys outside of those places. And they were like, no, you're not allowed to. And people didn't attack those. And they put out an SMS, like a short message, what an SMS, a text, right? They put out a blanket text, which China can do, by the way.
They do all the time.
Whether your phone has a SIM card in it or not, it comes to your phone, okay? And they just sent it to everyone. And it said, and it was, I'm paraphrasing here, but it was something like, it's good to be nationalist, but we have to obey the laws now, so you're not allowed to break things anymore.
I remember that.
And then immediately it stopped.
Yeah, immediately, because they shut it down.
Yeah, because now there's going to be legal ramifications. But before that, there weren't.
You know why? Because it was to bolster nationalism, take the attention away from everything that was happening internally in the CCP.
Yeah, the Bolshevik,
Yeah, there's a huge scandal that was going on within the Chinese government. And it was by necessity to get people's attention off of that scandal and to put it against Japan. They can turn it on whenever they want, but when they turn it on too much, the heat goes too high, and then Chinese people start attacking other Chinese businesses. Yes. And that's where they're like, okay, backpedal. Because it turns out that sushi shop is actually Chinese owned and run.
Yeah, and
it turns out that entire factory, all the profit is going to Chinese factory workers, right? So all of this, it's nonsense nationalism comes to a head. But I remember during that exact time, I was walking around one of those kind of bulk stores where they have like people can set up their own stalls. And like at that time, everyone had a big burning Japanese flag that they printed out on A4 paper or whatever. And it said like no Japanese allowed in Japanese and in Chinese.
Yeah.
And I actually filmed that. And I was walking around and I was like, what's going on? Because you would never see that in most countries.
They're like no Japanese or dogs allowed and stuff. I remember that very clearly.
The Hunan restaurants. Yeah.
And it's like, well, there are not any Japanese here anyway that want to go to your shitty little restaurant, to be honest, like in this area. So what are you doing?
Shop.
Yeah, what are you doing? Is someone going to fly from Japan to come here?
No, and they do it for advertising too. It's not even, if I went into that shop and I said, do you really hate Japan and blah, 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 they wouldn't have any massively strong feelings about it. They do it to attract people. You get some nationalist people that are walking in there and they're like, oh, yeah, I hate Japan.
A lot of businesses combated this by putting up Chinese flags over their banners or pictures of Mao Zedong or something.
You remember that Japanese restaurant we always used to go to?
Yeah.
Everyone that works there is Chinese. We're really good friends with everyone in there. But they catered to the Japanese clientele that owns the factories and stuff.
Yeah, nearby,
We're closer with the Chinese staff than anyone from Japan in there. But what they did to survive was to put up Chinese flags all over the front.
Yeah.
So that people don't firebomb it.
If you put like a poster of Xi Jinping or Mao Zedong on your business, it won't get touched.
It won't get touched. People are, it's
they're
illegal.
They're too afraid. They're too
screwed.
Afraid. Yeah. It's such a ridiculous thing.
It's crazy, right?
And now you see kind of how ugly this can get, this ridiculous nationalism, to the point where they're celebrating the death and the cowardly assassination of a political figure in nightclubs, at weddings. They're cosplaying as the assassin.
It's a cool thing to do right now.
It's like, there's no hiding it. China can't say, a few small bad eggs.
That's what I was going to say about the Global Times things. It's funny as they're self-owning ridiculous language that they use, which is belittling their own people, which don't deserve that, by the way, just to placate like Westerners.
Yeah.
That aside, like their feeble attempt at trying to say that this is it's just a few people. That's what they're trying to say.
It's ridiculous.
It's a varied opinion everywhere.
It's not. It's the majority of the opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.